Hi, my name is Karnaratne. Welcome to this episode of God's Whistleblower, where we expose how man has manipulated the universal God of the truth by creating the God of the Bible and other holy books. Religious politics of untruth and deception have been used for over 2000 years to undermine the fairness, justice, and respect for humanity and the environment. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming again, and thank you for listening. And I'm from God's Whistleblower. My name is Karnaratne. I'm going to share with you again and about the God of the Bible, God, or in other words, God of the holy books. I'm going to share with you what I found over 25 years of believing, practicing, later observing, researching, and find out who is this God Bible talking about. Also, find the answer to who created the world or group of human beings created the God. After 45 years of observing, searching, and the answer I found is a group of people emerged from the land of Palestine, start to believe in God as a creator. Later, invaders came from part of the Greece, and took over the country, and they promoted this same theory in order to divide and rule that nation. So, God did not create the world, and people created the God. But before that happened, concept of God and believing the God as a creator always been there in Egypt and also other part of the world. Specifically, I am sharing with you not about God out of the Bible, or I'm sharing with you about God being introduced from the Bible and the other holy books, Torah and Quran. Specifically talking about the God of the Bible. When the time of Greek entering that land, later Roman emperor started to conquer that land, same land. When the Romans took hold of that land, and they had a partnership with the religious and political authority and the Roman authority. And this is a time, and a person named Jesus Christ much later came. And when he born into that land, he was a believer of that religion, which is God of the Old Testament. Later, early years of his life, and he left the land of Palestine, and research show he did some studies and traveling mainly in the Egypt. And also he traveled other part of the world as well, like Asia. And age of 30, he came back, started to teach, preach, and practice totally different to the religion in the Old Testament, which is that was hostile to that religious people of Old Testament and also Roman authority. After Jesus did not happy with that religion and practices, not only he speak against that, also he tried to bring people out of that Judeo religion and Judeo-Hebrew religion. So, religious authority of the Old Testament went after his life. We know what happened to him. Age of 33, he lost his life, and because religious authority and Roman authority wanted to end his life. And but later they've been told it's a God took his life for a reason. That's not true at all. And 320 to 330 years, Christ's teaching and practice and became spread around the world. And after departure of Christ, that Christianity, which is non-violence teaching of Christ, and exist, and people practice. But when the Roman Emperor Constantine, when he come up with his agenda, he needed to bring all the religions under one umbrella. That time his idea was establish one religion under one umbrella. As a result, he introduced the biblical project that was producing the Bible and bring all the religion faction under that umbrella. That we know why Constantine come up with this idea. He want to unite the religion. Later, he want to conquer the world. And Christ's teaching and through Christianity, Christ taught, preach, and practice as a non-violence religion. That's Brother Constantine. Conquering the world, you can't have a non-violent religion. So he created he destroyed the true Christianity of Christ, last well over 300 years. Then he introduced his brand of Christianity in order to achieve the object, what he want to achieve, which is conquering the world. He produced that God through the Bible. What he did is he brought the Old Testament and the faction of teaching of Christianity, true Christianity, and joined together and produced the book called Bible, what we know today as a holy book, and some call God-inspired word, some call God-spoken word. Bible is many people believe different way. But some people believe it is a nice book, it's an important book. For me, 45 years of observing, practicing in that religion, 16 different churches, starting from Catholics to later evangelical born-again Christian, 45 years of observing, practicing, and believing, for me is a Bible, is a most con book ever produced. And it's a very deceiving book and the best book of brainwashing. God of the Bible never exists, but low level of belief and thinking, and those who live in the gutter religion and politics and exist. They are the characters produce the God, not God created them or us. They created the God and introduced to us. They created that God in order to achieve their political goals, objectives. When the Roman Emperor Constantine, and when he started his own brand of Christianity, then include the violence, because that whole project for conquering the world. Then non-violent true Christianity ended. He wiped out all the people, resisted, and then he forcibly baptized other people to his brand of Christianity. Also, he forcibly claimed himself Christian, and he talked to the Christ in the dream. Now, as a result, Constantine was successful and bringing all the religions together under so-called Christianity. He produced through the Bible. He produced introduced his own religious authority. First Pope, we know as a Catholic Pope, and other hierarchies. So he successfully achieved the object he wanted to achieve. As we know, he was very brutal and deceiving, and also same time best con artist we ever seen in the history to today. And then when he conquered, as we know, every kingdom come to the end sooner or later. When the Roman kingdom start to deteriorate, then that kingdom is a collapse, but the religion and he introduced through the Bible went on. Why is it went on? And colonial masters took hold the same book, same Bible, same God, and they also use the same way. They promote that book in the Christ name. It's not Christ teaching there. It's, there's no more include the non-violence teaching of Christ, but only Christ's name there to promote that book. They still promote the violent book of Old Testament and practices. And now they call the Bible because little bit teaching of Christ and the Old Testament, they join together, call a holy book. So colonial masters start to achieve. Now when the time of Constantine, only one emperor. Now you have a colonial masters, all of them from Europe. Now one hand is military, other hand is a book called Holy Bible. So they achieve what they want to achieve. And who that system exists today, and the same God, same God's being promoted by those churches and the political authority today. And who are the beneficiary of that religion? Religion of Constantine, or religion of the Bible. Who's the beneficiary? Beneficiary is one first Roman Emperor Constantine. He received he achieved his objectives, and he conquered the world. Secondly, when that ended, colonial masters took the same Bible, and they also achieved what Constantine achieved. They are the beneficiary. Only beneficiary is political establishment and religious establishment. Not every citizen is a beneficiary, no. And when the colonial masters exist and their high religious authority and political authority, their hierarchy. So they have their own palaces and castles, and religious hierarchy, they had their cathedral and all the other big churches, but a normal citizen always being poor, they pay the price. They both in so many ways, it's countless loss of life. Mainly not hierarchies, not the religious hierarchy or political hierarchy, but normal citizen. And whether the army of the colonial master or other countries, they are receiving end, but both have losses, both countless losses. So normal citizen, this matter doesn't matter which side you are, but you are still poor and you may sacrifice your life. But only the two beneficiaries and the colonial power, political power, and the colonial religious power. And together they produce a very unhelpful, another power is called capitalism. When the political power and religious power, they getting richer and richer, as they, then it's give a birth to the capitalism we will see today. Today is a sad side of the capitalism. Only 20 or less people beneficiary of the richness in the world. Money, gold, or whatever, only beneficiaries is 20% of the world population. That's a capitalism. And receiving end and suffering is less. 80% of people share the 20% of the world wealth. So who created the capitalism and political hierarchy and religious hierarchy? So what's the book they use to promote that? So-called Bible, so-called holy book, so-called word, God's inspired word, and so-called, some call a nice book. And I call a book of horror and book of greatest book of deception and greatest book ever produced to brainwash people. And also something else worse happened to this world, producing this Bible and introducing this human created God. And another things happen is environment. Environment pay heavy price. Environment, because greediness of the capitalism and turn the blind eye by the religion and the politics, and environment suffer. And so many rainforests and natural forests being destroyed, and the rivers, waters of the rivers being polluted, and so much chemical being enter into the water of the underground. And damage is nobody can estimate, and damage is continue. Because the people caught up in this religion of the holy books, people caught up in being brainwashed to this religion, and they blind to what's happening around the world. They blind to see what's happening to our environment. They blind to see what's happening to the future of our children. They blind to see what's happening to the future of the unborn generation. And they blindly being taught, they blindly believe, and Christ can come anytime. That's what false promises given to them. Christ come anytime if you accepted the Christ's name to your heart and you are Christian, so you have a ticket to go to heaven. So don't worry about environment or any other things, because it's going to change. As soon as Christ appears in the sky, everything going to change by twinkle in your eye. That's what a church say. What I'm sharing with you, and also I like to let you know, I'm happy to take anybody's challenge. If anybody's saying or accusing me, I'm telling not the truth. I'm looking at you and your eye, I'm telling you the truth, and I can prove it. And I'm also open to any debate. Anybody want to debate. And this is the truth. And God of the Bible not exist, and people create the God of the Bible, and they given us political establishment and religious establishment, and also as a result they give a birth to the capitalism, and it's continued today. It's time for us to stand up and take that power, for us to stand up and speak the truth to the power. I am not an atheist. I'm not saying God not exist, but I am saying is God of the Holy Book is not exist. It's created by the people. But there is a God exist, God of love, respect, peace, justice, and Emperor Akhenaten had that relationship with that God, and Gandhi had that relationship with that non-violent God, and also Martin Luther King, a civil rights leader, he had a relationship with that non-violence God, but he caught up with the both world, because he could not let the Bible go. He could not see the Bible is a horrible book of the human beings, and he could not see that. Even he saw the God is a non-violence, but he could not separate from the violence God of the Old Testament and accepting the non-violence God of the Christ completely. And all I'm asking you to end of this session, and please read the Bible. Please read the good look at around the world what's happening. And this is a political establishment, a religious establishment in the world. They're working together. And they also created the political system called democracy. You can't trust your future, this democratic system. You can't trust the future of the environment, this democratic system. Democracy is a numbers game. It has not been right, wrong, fair, unfair. And it is about, if we have numbers, if we have enough votes, and you are right, nothing to do with right or wrong. If you have numbers enough, if you people vote you, then you have a power to go anywhere you want to go. So it's democracy do not take any responsibility or responsible for anything. So religion also the same. And we need to read the Bible and good look at it, so how much evil is being committed, and the same thing is still continue, maybe different ways. And so be liberated yourself from untruth, and then you are able to stand and speak the truth to the power. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching the God's Whistleblower. Please click on the subscribe button below, and I look forward to seeing you for our next session.